There's Karamaj at the top. Body weights, everyone making it in. Everyone around about 76 and change. Earlier on in the B group, we had some solid lifting. The best of the lifters was Mrzoryan of Armenia. His total 322. There's Karamaj, the Albanian. Some very good results in the past. A 158 snatcher at his very best. World Junior Championship second. There's Pippa of Moldova, fifth at the 2013 Summer Olympiad. Third at the Junior Worlds as well. Here's the Russian, Onanyan, 2013 Junior World and European champion, and that says everything. Still a youth, still a young athlete coming up. Now here's Tigan Mrosyan, 2010 World and European champion. The other Albanian, Daniel Gudeli, big name in weightlifting, second at the 2013 European Championships, looking to go one better here. Richard Cash of Slovakia, third at the 2011 European Championships. Alexandru Rosu, seventh at the 2013 Summer Universiad. Second at the European Juniors as well in 07. Dimitrov of Bulgaria, third at the 09 Junior European Championships. He's lost a bit of weight since then. He used to lift in the 85s. There is the Turk Semi, 2011 European champion. Semi's best snatch, 157. Well, this is what we've got to look forward to now. We have the men's 77 kilogram class. Tomorrow we go on to the women's 69 and the men's 85. So that's 17:15 Central European time for the women's 69. And then on Thursday, just one category, the women's 75 at 17:15 CET. Then on Friday, men's 94 at 18:30. And then look at all the categories on Saturday. The men's 105 plus at 17:15. We start earlier, though, at 11 o'clock Central European. Now this is the best lifter from Group B, as I said earlier. It is Arakel Mrzoryan of Armenia, who hit 147 in the snatch, 175 in the clean and jerk. .147. That'll be a solid lift even in the A group, which is why we're getting a chance to see this now in the clean and jerk. Hitting 175 in his second lift, failed 177. So this is a second successful one at 175. So that's what the A group have to follow. The B group lifters expected to be a little bit lower. That was a solid bit of lifting there. Previous winners last year, it was the Russian Komakayov. And look further down, there's Semi Yaksi, just 3 years ago. 2011 in Kazan, won with a 347 total. The Turks have always been very successful, and the Bulgarians too at this weight category. Georgi Markov, of course, one of the great names of weightlifting, 2002 and 03, taking the European title here. So, flashing away on Rosu of Romania, 140 is what we expect him to see his account opened at. So we'll have the snatch, then a short break, and then the clean and jerk. Here are the records. The snatch record for the Europeans, 173 kilograms. So we're starting at 140, so we're a good way away from that. Some of the lifters here have some big PBs, though. Look at the likes of Mrosyan of Armenia, 177, his best ever snatch. Well, some of these men have been up and down weights. That done at the 85s.
Yep, that's right. Mrosyan achieved that back in 2008 at the Olympic Games, placed third, but it was in the 85 kilo category, so I wonder what he can do in the 77s.
So alongside me, Colin Bryce, is indeed Michaela Breeze, former European medalist. We'll be able to take you through all of the action. Now, Rosu is coming out as expected. at 140. The Romanian open this competition and very slick.
Well, that was a power snatch, wasn't it? Happened so quick. Power snatch is defined by anything caught above knee level, so less than, oh sorry, greater than 90-degree bend at the knee. If you sit in deeper than that, deeper than parallel, it's a squat snatch. All right, he was deeper, but it was very high.
It was borderline, wasn't it? Yeah.
It's one of my powers. I know my lifters would be having a giggle now.
Very snappy, and certainly looks good for a whole lot more anyway. Well, who's going to be next? Perhaps the Bulgarian, Dimitrov, expected to come out at 145. Yaxi, the Turk, again posted a 145, which is quite low for him for his opener. But there may indeed be some changing going on. Well, looks like Alexander Dimitrov is coming out onto the stage. 145 it is. His best a 149. Did that in 2012, second at the European Under-23 Championships last year.
Well, that buzzer you heard was the 30-second buzzer, just giving the athletes notice.
Well, considering he's getting fairly close to his personal best, 149, that looked a fairly comfortable opener.
Quite a lot of energy wasted there getting into the starting position. But hey, that's his style. Not much wrong with the lift. Setting himself, big chest, leading with the chest all the way through the lift. He just pulled away from the bar as if a wrist was giving him a bit of jip.
Sami Yaxi next.
Oh, very fast underneath the bar, looked to be lacking a little in the extension. Extension is important. Generate as much upward momentum on the bar as possible.
Well, he matches the 145. Coming out now then for second lift, Alexander Rossu. Having done the 140. Gone up by 5 kilograms. Rossu at his best, worth 155.
Rossu really does have perfect levers for this sport. You can see really long back, short arms and legs. Perfect for generating maximum force.
Good to see him go 2 out of 2 back in 2012 at the Olympics, and indeed last year's World Championships bombed in both contests. The game of chess goes on backstage. They're just eyeing up, the coaches and the lifters, telling what the others are doing, deciding when they're going to come in. Not too many games are going to be played in the first round. You just want to get something, maybe not comfortable in, but something that's achievable just to get you on the board. And then you can start to think about what the really hopeful second lift is before you go for the dream third lift.
That's right, you can see the coach there just pulling the lifter's ears, squeezing his shoulders, anything to inflict a small amount of pain, just to get the adrenaline going, get the athlete fired up before they step foot onto the platform.
Well, this is Pippa of Moldova coming out for his opener. 147, just as we expected. That's what he posted.
And in contrast to the lifter that we just saw, very long arms. That's not favourable for a lifter. It's a long way for the bar to travel. See the slow-mo. Could do with leading with his chest from the floor.
Ramzik Unanyan coming out for his opener, 148.
This is a lifter with some calibre. Having come through the youth ranks, he was world youth champion back in 2011, European junior champion last year, and also world junior champion. So first big senior international.
Yeah, 155 his personal best. So the coaches have picked what should be a comfortable opener.
Super solid overhead. Small smile there. I think he'll be relieved, get the first one in. And this is all a learning curve for some of these lifters. It's a different kind of competition, junior ranks through to senior. There's a lot more pressure, and this is now competing with the big boys. Very fast, great position all the way through the lift.
Coach is happy with that. You can see the Turkish coaches watching on here. The Bulgarian Dimitrov expected out at 148, and indeed he's coming out at 148. Just 3 kilograms more than he managed in his first lift.
Slightly forwards, rotation of the shoulders. He's in some discomfort somewhere. Not obvious what he's hurt. But he's a gutsy lifter. Really had to fight for that. You can see as he stands up out of the snatch position, just rotates the shoulders forward. Has to run forwards to get underneath it. So long as he stands still, feet in line, it's a good lift. Upper back by the looks of it.
Yeah, maybe a little cramp in the upper back.
You think how hard these lifters have to work in the starting position. Hands nice and wide, really engaging lower traps. It's just to set the shoulder blades in the right position so that they can lead with the chest. If you're not tight through the upper back, then you end up falling forwards as the bar comes off the floor.
Rossu coming out for 148, his third and final. And it would make it 3 out of 3 for him, which is great after his last 2 major internationals, the Olympics and the World Championships bombing.
Super powerful lift. And when a lifter executes it with that much ease, you've got to wonder how far they can go. It's like with any skill, a skillful performer can perform with maximum ease, maximum certainty.
I mean, it was so fast there. There was barely a pause from the catching to the standing phase. Phenomenal, really, and looked good for a lot more. Now the Turk coming out for his second lift. It's Semi Yagsi at 149. His best, personal best, 157. That was done back in 2010.
Well, that's what happens when you don't get full extension. Try to swing it into position. That one didn't even slow down overhead.
So the European champion of 2011, just a little bit off form here. Well down on what he's absolutely capable of, or certainly capable of in the past.
Nice whiff of the smelling salts to clear the head. Sets your nostrils on fire.
Yeah, it's just ammonia in there, which is just a thoroughly unpleasant thing. It's the kind of thing you wave under someone's nose if they've passed out, and brings them back. Now, Rossi, he's done all 3 attempts, 148. He leads the way by virtue of body weight ahead of Onanyan and Dimitrov of Bulgaria. Just a kilogram back down in 4th is Mirzoyan from the B group. So we've had 3 of the 9 lifters so far in this competition. We're still waiting to see some really big names here. Sean Clegg down the bottom there in 9th position for Great Britain.
Yeah, snatched 127 earlier this morning in the B group, 160. Slightly down on personal best, which he's done 135, 162. So I'm sure he's going to be a bit disappointed with that. But Sean will be training hard now for the British champs in a few weeks, and hopefully Commonwealth Games in Glasgow.
Sami Yagsi, 149 again.
That's disappointing. We talk about swinging the bar. It either goes overhead or it doesn't go quite high enough. Overcompensated there. It's close. He's left with 145.
A little disappointing there for Semi, the former European champion. Next out, it's Richard Tkac of Slovakia. Looks like he's going to be going for 150 on the bar. Yes, it is. Slovakian, who's good for 160 at his very best. That was done in 2009, though it was at the 85 kilo weight class, so he was a heavier man then.
I think he's got a best of 153 in this category, so starting pretty much on the limit. Oh, it was a test of leg strength to stand with that. That's worrying if you're struggling to stand up with a snatch. The clean's obviously going to be so much harder. But 150, he's in the competition, only 3 kilos below his personal best in this category. Technically very efficient, very nice. Sitting nice and straight overhead. Yeah, let's freeze the t-shirt.
The old cold spray on Dimitrov as he comes out for his 3rd and final. Looked like he had something going on with his trap there earlier. Perhaps a bit of cramp. You can roll it around to wherever you want on the stage.
Maybe it's lighter if you roll it forwards. That's unlucky. He's left with 148 on his 2nd attempt.
Well, never even close in the end there for his 3rd and final. So the Moldovan back out. Pippa. Good attempt at his first one, 147. So he's gone 4 kilos up to 151. Well, he certainly enjoyed that one. Good lift. 151, 3 white lights. Goes into first place at the moment. Still some big names to join in, though. Still waiting for Keramaj of Albania. We expect him in around 154. Martirosyan of Armenia, 155. And the other Albanian, Gadeli, still expect him in as well. Now here's the young Russian with stacks of leg power. We saw that in the first snatch. 152 he's gone up to for his second attempt.
Not quite as comfortable as his opening attempt. Had to work really hard for that. You can see where he lands it in the receiving position, but then sinks that bit lower. In my view, that's where he should have caught it first time. A bit soft at the bottom.
So the Russian goes clear at 152.
We're going to see the Albanians coming in now.
Yeah, how high will he go? Will he go to 155, 156, try and bring the Albanians in?
Well, the bar will automatically go up by just 1 kilo for the Russian. It's then down to his coaches to change the weight at the table. Looks like Keramaj of Albania is coming out for his first attempt. He's anticipating that the Russian is going up.
Yeah, so we're expecting the bar to probably go to 155 then. Here come the pit crew doing their best.
Yeah, 15s are on, so yeah, 155.
It's always a pleasure to watch these guys in action.
they've got help. They've got the trolley thing, lifts the bar off the floor for them. Much more fun to watch them struggle without that.
Yeah, it's a very tiring day for these men who do all of the weight changes. They sprint on, sprint out, and they do all the B groups. There's something you don't even see as well. So there's 4 categories a day. Hard work. 155 on the bar then for Erkan Keramaj. If he hits this, he'll go straight into the lead with 2 other men still to join in.
It's only 3 kilos below his best. He looks like he's on fire here today. Former world junior silver medalist back in 2006 and 2007. He's got some caliber behind him.
Indeed, yeah, 6th at the World Championships last year. So coming out now, it's Martirosyan of Armenia, 155 to open his account. Well, he's done a whole lot more at 85 kilograms. Came 3rd at the Olympic Games back in 2008. Actually hit a 177 in the snatch at the heavier weight category. So may well have had to cut a lot of weight to get into this 77 kilo class.
He was fighting that from going backwards. It's always frustrating when you miss your first, particularly when it's a weight 27 kilos below what you've done before. Yeah, he was going right back on his heels.
Daniel Gudeli then to join in. This is the last man that we haven't previously seen.
Oh, same problem. Well, the pressure is on now.
Oh, 8th of the World Championships in 2013. Bombed in London. Had a bad day then. Personal best 147 in the snatch. And
but that was at body weight of 69 kilos.
yeah, coming up a weight, so we expect he's stacked on quite a bit of muscle since then. Obviously feels more comfortable at this weight, but still this will be the largest weight he'd ever have lifted on an international stage. Now coming back out is Richard Tkac of Slovakia, going for 155 also. 5 kilos more than he managed in his first lift, which was a success. But as Michaela pointed out, looked like he was just lacking a little bit in leg power when he was standing up from that 150, so it'll be interesting to see what happens here.
To keep his chest up more as the bar comes off the floor and really attack it. There needs to be a definite change in speed as the bar passes the knees. Needs to generate some more acceleration.
Well, I just wonder, I mean, he is a lifter who's lifted a whole lot at the 85s. He's now lost quite a bit of weight to come down to 77s, whether it really suits him.
Well, he must fancy his chances a lot better. He was third at the European Championships back in 2011.
In terms of weigh-ins and putting weight back on, I mean, boxers, they weigh in 24 hours before, but in weightlifting it's a little different.
Oh, I wish we could do that. No, this is just 2 hours before. There's an hour window to weigh in. You have to go in the order that you're called, so it could be half an hour into that. So you may only have really up to about an hour from the end of, from whenever you finish weighing in until when you've got to start warming up. So there's not long to fully rehydrate or get enough food on board. These lifters might be a kilo heavier than they weighed in at, but not much.
Pippa going for 155 and doesn't get it.
Same problem. You see the replay, chest is very low. That's going to pull him forwards off the floor. Pulls you onto your toes. There's only one way that bar's going, and that's out in front. Trying to compensate by throwing his shoulders back at the top. It's too late by then.
Well, the Moldovan has 2 good lifts to his name, 147 and 151, his second attempt that he nailed. Coming out now is Onanyan of Russia. 156 is third and final. Things are looking a little interesting here because Martirosyan of Armenia and the Albanian Gudeli, who are the last 2 to join in, both failed their opener. We haven't seen that much bombing at the Europeans so far, but well, this category might be the change here.
Oh, just going backwards, really fighting to hold on to that. Gets to a point where you cannot fight any longer, you need to let go. That's when you're going to risk the shoulders and elbows going.
So his best 152, that's what he'll carry forward to the clean and jerk.
See, toes came up, he's right back on his heels.
Only in second place, Keramaj is leading the contest. The only man to go clear at 155. To catch, coming out at 156. She's shaking her head next to me, doesn't believe he's going to do it.
Well, that was between you and I. You shouldn't be broadcasting that. We can play it. You can play this at home as well. Thumbs up if you think it's a good lift. Thumbs down if they think they're going to miss it. But you've got to make the call before the bar comes off the floor.
Missed it so badly in the previous. It's hard to see. There we go. Once again. I just think he's cut too much weight. His first time down into the 77s. He just looks flat out there.
See how much leg strength he's lost. That'll be more evident on the cleans.
Martirosyan coming for his second. Martirosyan and Goudelli both failed that 155 opener. Two of the big names of this category. Both look like they're going to come out at 157.
Well, it was very risky putting 2 kilos on, having missed 155, but it's paid off. Obviously in good shape, and he's confident.
26 years old, Martirosyan. He's experienced. Obviously feels comfortable with 2 kilograms of increase. As you said, it's still risky tactics, isn't it?
Oh, it's nerve-wracking. Doesn't matter how good you are, how confident you are. It doesn't matter what you've done in training. It is very nerve-wracking, especially having put the weight up.
Martirosyan is a bronze medalist from the Olympic Games in 08. Goudelli doesn't quite have so many honours. Can he handle the pressure as well then? 157, 2 more than his first failure.
Oh, I don't know. I know he's not got a very good elbow lock anyway, but I thought there was movement on his right arm, our left, as we look at it.
Yeah, even his left seemed to wobble a little bit. And, well, 1 white, 2 reds. It's a no. Let's have a look again.
So on the left arm as we look at it, definite movement in the elbow. Some would argue it's a silly rule. If you get it up there, it should be counted as a lift. Well, my view is the rules are the rules. At what point do you draw the line? And it's good to see, though. It's good to see the last few years the referees have been very consistent.
Martirosyan leads 157, 2 kilograms ahead of the Albanian. Keramaj on 155, and then back on 152, Onanyan, the young Russian. But at the moment, Daniel Goudelli still hasn't managed to post a weight. He has 1 lift in which to do it, and it would be awful if the Albanian were to bomb out here, knowing how good a clean and jerker he is as well. Well, discussion amongst the jury members.
Oh,
good
wow.
lift there. So Mr. Johansson, the Swede who's in charge of the jury, president of the jury, decides it's a good lift.
Well,
I mean, you did say Goudelli has a bad lockout, and that is known.
But there was definite movement there. I'm sorry, I disagree with the jury on that occasion. They usually get it very well, very correct, but that was, yeah, I think that was a mistake. I think when they see the replay again, I think they'll look back and say, whoops, made a mistake. For Daniel, it's great. He's in the competition. He's got 1 lift in. He got away very lightly there.
Yeah, suddenly he can think about going for the gold, not just getting 1 in and playing safe. So that has suddenly changed Daniel Goudelli's world. He's now in 2nd place by virtue of body weight. He's heavier than Martirosyan. Both men have hit 157. And Keramaj comes out for 158. Successful at 155. It will leave him with 1 lift left.
Well, they've stopped him. This is not great officiating. They've asked him to hang on a minute. It's because his name is not on the board. That's a mistake on the computer. we've got a problem. Daniel Gadelli, the bar automatically goes up by 1 kilo. You have to change it within 30 seconds, or you have to take the same weight again. If I were the coaches, I'd now be arguing with the jury, saying, "Hang on a minute,
absolutely,
you change the time." He has to. Okay. Now Daniel's asking, what is going on? What do I do?
Yeah, the jury stepped in there to overrule that lift, but the system was still working through, wasn't it?
Yeah, no, I think they've made the right decision there, although it has panicked him a little. So rather than being calm and composed in the warm-up room.
Yeah, Karamaj now it looks like he's going to 159. Though, did he want 158?
It was 158 originally.
Is he now saying that I want 158? You've gone to 159.
Well, they've got the score table in the warm-up room, and it's on that. You have a sheet of paper. Each lifter has their own sheet, so they'll be able to go back to that as evidence to clarify what weight was actually selected. The coach is waving his hand, saying, "No, hang on, it's the wrong weight."
158 for Gadelli, still up on the board, and we know that Gadelli's definitely not doing that. So
there's confusion between the warm-up room and the actual competition hall.
Yeah, and indeed there's a multitude of other people that are pressing buttons and a part of the system as well, from MCs to scorers to timekeepers. So
it can get very confusing, you know. It's not easy to keep an eye on everybody. This is where Karamaj needs to just stay focused, stay composed. You don't want to be messing around with these kind of things now.
And what is, of course, makes it even more so is that it's two Albanians. It's either one or the other, and the Albanian coaches know which one they want to go. So it's not as if any tricks have been played by other.
They're showing that it's on the card, that they're using that as the evidence, and quite rightly so. The coaches have that.
And that is the Armenian coach complaining there.
158. Karamaj.
Yeah, Martirosyan, the Armenian, is expected to come out at 160. That's what's been updated now. So Karamaj at 158.
Back to where we were a few minutes ago. Let's hope it hasn't distracted him too much.
Gadelli expected to go 159 and Martirosyan 160.
Quick look at the clock.
Well, he made 155 in his opener. He's failed 158, and quite rightly, probably Karamaj will be a little bit annoyed with the system there, but he's smiling. Hopefully it doesn't affect him. He can just dust it off and come out for a third and final attempt.
At this level, no excuses. It's part and parcel of the competition. You know these things happen. It's how you deal with it. In my view, he got maybe 2 involved, but no excuses. He's missed the lift. He's got 1 attempt remaining.
Yeah, at least he didn't turn around and start shouting at the jury in the crowd there, complaining. He just a little smile on his face, and I think he's got the power for this, that's for sure. This is how it sits so far. Martirosyan of Armenia 157, the Albanian Gadelli 157 also, but a heavier man. Karamaj just wanting to make sure he's getting involved now himself, just making sure it's going up right. 158, is he going to follow himself here?
They're having a discussion, I think, over whether or not to increase the bar. I think the sensible thing to do would be go out on this, which he is doing.
I guess it's how much did the last weight take out of him. If he were to go to 159, he would buy himself a little bit more time. Potentially you've got Gadelli and Martirosyan at 160.
Well, it's close. 3 lifters in, each with only 1 attempt remaining.
Exactly. So if he gets this, straight into the gold medal position. If he doesn't, we know he'll be in 3rd.
No.
Bronze medal it is then for Karamaj, and he'll carry forward 155, his opener, which looked really comfortable, and he'll be a little bit disappointed. He is all smiles as he walks off. You've got to have that kind of personality, I think, in situations like this. He can dust himself off and go for the clean and jerk, where he's posted the biggest opener, 187. He'll need every kilo now if he's going to take the overall title here. Martirosyan, ooh, a change just flashed up there. You could see it. We're expecting Gudeli to perhaps come out at 159, but he's upped it to 161. So that must have been the change. So Martirosyan will therefore come out at 160 by my reckoning. And yes, that's exactly what's happening. Failed 155, but good at 157 now to go or to hold the gold medal position, because both him and Gudeli are on 157, but he is the lighter lifter. Hence, Gudeli's going to 161 for his last one. He needs to go a kilo more because he is the heavier man. No luck, so it's down to Daniel Gudeli. He's still in the gold medal position. He's still in first place in the snatch. That 157 at the 76.48 kilo body weight is about 20 grams lighter than Daniel Gudeli, who now must come out and do 161. And we saw Gudeli on his second lift. Well, dodgy lockout to say the least, but the referees were overruled by the jury, and they gave him the 157. I've seen him snatch in big competitions before. He always has a weak lockout where the elbows struggle to go fully straight. Some elbows go past straight, makes it really easy. Big ask here. No luck, so he has to settle for second place by virtue of body weight. 157 is second lift. Similar story to Martirosyan, who takes the lead with 157. That's what they'll carry forward to the clean and jerk phase. 155 for Keramaj. His opener puts him into third. So Albania second and third at the moment. All pretty close. Let's have a look at that attempt again. No. Never gets a good lockout.
No, never fully extended, never fully underneath the bar. That's a shame. He's very lucky, to be honest, to be in the competition. Jury overruled that decision, kept him in.
Martirosyan, there you are, both men 157. You can see the weight difference, hence Gudeli in second. Keramaj 155, and then 3 kilo drop down to Unanyan, who sits in fourth. Fifth place, Pippa on 151. So a good battle is brewing in the clean and jerk and for the total.
It's the climber's paradise, but along the way...
We're in the break between the snatch and the clean and jerk in the men's 77 kilo class. A lot of failures in the snatch. We can have a little look now at exactly how it unfolded. Erkan Keramaj of Albania managed to nail his opener at 155. This is it. Very comfortable lift. He then called for 158 after that. And I'm afraid he failed 158 twice. There was some confusion as to who was meant to be the next lifter in order after a decision was overturned by the jury. And Keramaj was the victim of that. Now, Daniel Gudeli managed to miss his opener at 155, rolled the dice here to go for 157 for his second lift. Now watch the lockout here. Did the arms bend? Well, the referees thought it was a fail, 2-1, but then the judges stepped in and said no, they were happy it's a good lift. Gudeli always has a poor lockout. You see a lot of movement on the right arm there, but even when his arms are fully locked, they actually aren't totally straight. Well, a similar story for Martirosyan. He failed his opener at 155, and then he came out for his second lift at 157. This his only success in the snatch, but ultimately he is the lighter man than Gudeli, and nobody else was to beat it. So this ended up being the gold medal lift. Looking very comfortable, the Armenian, who has an incredible snatch PB of 177 at a heavier body weight. Manages to take the lead in the overall competition, and the gold in the snatch with that 157. So Kerimaj in third on 155, Gudeli in second on 157, and Martirosyan in first by virtue of body weight, also on 157. So we're going to be back pretty soon with the clean and jerk, the second half of this competition at the men's senior 77 kilo class European champs. They're going through their warm-ups, clean and jerking, not far off of what they'll be coming out at, and we expect Richard Tkac of Slovakia to be coming out at 178 in just a moment or two. There's 15 minutes between the two disciplines. There is Razmik Onanyan of Russia, expected to come out at 180, putting the belt on. Is it for a final warm-up, or is he indeed going to be coming out pretty soon? The coaches will be checking out what the others have put forward. A lot of men are expected to come in at 180, and there's only a couple of kilograms between Kerimaj, Gudeli and Martirosyan from the snatch. You carry forward your weight from the snatch to the clean and jerk for the overall total.
I think already we've seen Tkac move up from 178. He's now upped it to 180. So we're going to see Pippa from Moldova coming out for 180. These guys are really close together, really bunched up, so it's going to be flicking between lifters all over the place. Yeah,
there appears to be 6 men coming out at 180. Perhaps explain how the order happens.
Well, the lifters will have drawn a lot, an order number which is done at random at the weigh-in. That's the order that we see on the scoreboard. Basically, the lightest weight starts first. It's a rising bar. First attempts go before second attempts before third. And yeah, it pretty much runs as follows. The lifters are allowed 2 changes of weight. So once they've taken one lift, the bar automatically assumes a 1 kilo increase. The coaches or the lifter can change that a further 2 times. After 2 changes, that's it. Whatever weight they've selected, that's what they've got to go for. The weights at the moment, because the competition hasn't started, they are allowed to lower the weight, put the weight up, but it still counts as a change. So Tkac has used one of his changes to go from 178 up to 180.
Oh, brilliant roundup. Thank you for that. So you now understand how the chess game works. You are allowed to chop and change as we see these final warm-ups happening. Okay, the results from the snatch: 157 for the top 2 men, and Martirosyan at the top because of body weight, just as Michaela said. That trumps if you both end up doing the same weight. And then in third position, the other Albanian, Kerimaj, who hit 155. Sean Clegg down the bottom. He was in the B group for Great Britain earlier on today, hitting 127 in the snatch, failing 132 on his final attempt. Well, it may well be to catch. Having done his change, it looks like those that before him on 180 have now done changes as well. So it's come back to catch of Slovakia, who hit 150 in the snatch and then failed 55 and 56. And something we noticed is he just seemed to lack a bit of, well, power, and perhaps that's because he's come down from a heavier weight. And in weightlifting, unlike in some other sports, you have to weigh in not long before you start. There isn't a great deal of time to rehydrate, repower, refuel. So 180 on the bar, just shy of 400 pounds.
Wow. So, you question his leg strength. Stands up with it okay. Not the easiest of lifts that I've seen. I almost want to say that he's taken a warm-up, his last warm-up attempt, only a couple of minutes before he's called out onto the platform. Obviously, we saw all the other lifters change their weights. Maybe he hadn't anticipated that. Here we see a squat jerk. Oh, dear. There are 3 types of jerks: a power jerk, a split jerk, and a squat jerk. A split jerk is what we will see most lifters do. A power jerk is basically what we've just seen, but catching it a lot higher. That was an attempt at a squat.
Yeah, squat jerk, it's fair to say the most technical of all.
Oh, the hardest. I can honestly say I've never even put it into any of my training regimes because I don't have the shoulder flexibility.
Indeed, yeah. You're going down into what is a snatch position at the bottom with your arms very narrow apart. Now, Rosu, Alexandru Rosu of Romania, coming out for 180 as well. He hit all of his snatches. 148 his best.
I like his snatches, catching that very high. Oh. Well, that almost looked like he over-jerked it. Arms went into lock and then came straight out again. That's very frustrating. That's what happens if you try and snap your arms out at the end. Ideally, you want to be catching the weight overhead, not snapping at it. Clean, no problems. Yeah, they went to lock and came back out. Well, after missing a first attempt, as we discussed earlier, it does put the lifter under quite a bit of pressure.
Dimitrov, eyes up 180. Managed 148 in the snatch, failing 150 on his final attempt there.
Oh, wow. This is not a good start to the competition. He needs to put that pain in his upper trap out of his mind if he's going to come out here and be successful. So I'm struggling with that in the snatch.
So 3 attempts at 180, 3 failures, I'm afraid. One more man is called for 180, and that's Semih Yagsi of Turkey. You can see at the top of the graphic, it's giving you the total score he would achieve if he gets this as well, which would give him 325, which would automatically put him ahead of Arakel Mirzoyan of Armenia, who lifted in the B group earlier, who is still currently leading on 322 kilograms in terms of total.
Well, that bar sitting very wonky on his shoulders. Yeah, good lift overall. Just trying to work out why I do this all the time when I'm analysing lifts. If there's a wonkiness like that, there's obviously an imbalance somewhere in the body. He's pulling with his right arm. Looks like it's quite tight through his left side, pelvis and ribs quite close together. That's what's causing the line of the bar to not sit straight.
Yeah, just causing some kind of imbalance, and we are back to Richard to catch of Slovakia, who managed to get under it, caught it without a problem, and was standing up, and then I'm not sure whether it was just lights out. And we've discussed, he looks like he's struggling with cutting the weight, whether he's really got the power to finish this off.
Well, not only is a squat jerk really hard to execute, but it's even tougher when you're this tall. He's got long levers. Oh, very impressive when it's done. That is super hard to execute.
Yeah, it's brilliant to watch, isn't it? And 180 it is then. Goes clear, and overall goes into the lead. 330 kilograms his total, added to the 150 snatch he managed. Puts him 5 ahead of Yagsi, the European champion of 2011, who's somewhat down on his weights of the past. 192 is Yagsi's personal best. Alexandru Rosu coming out for 180 again. So we'll put him into second overall.
It's better catching the bar at arm's length this time. Shake of the head. Disappointed that he didn't do that on his first attempt. When you only get 3 attempts, you can't afford to waste silly ones. Big drive, arms nicely locked.
Oh, sigh of relief there, and again he's hit his 180. He's got a total now, and it's back over to Dimitrov, who came out scowling at the bar earlier. Seems to have some kind of problem with the upper right side of his back.
That was a big effort. That's going to take quite a lot out of him. Good overhead. Needs to stand still, though. Well, he's in a lot of pain, but he's also in the competition, so...
Well, when you add that to Dimitrov's 148, it puts him on a 328 total, but by virtue of body weight, he's behind Rossu, who's also on 328. To catch leads on 330 overall. We still have 5 men to join in this clean and jerk, and that was right on the limit. I'm not sure there's too much more of that.
No, I don't think so. The clean was hard. Jerk. He's not a bad jerk. He's quite good, quite strong in the overhead position, just taking a couple of steps forward. It's fine as long as you stay on the platform.
Didn't wait long there between his clean and his jerk, did he?
No, the longer you wait, the more it takes out of you. So you want to stand from the clean, set yourself and go fairly sharpish. But at the same time, you need to take enough time to get a bit of oxygen in and to focus on what's ahead.
Some running repairs here on Dimitrov. We're expecting, well, it's gone to Semi Yagsi on 181, but he's now obviously gone up. So it's over to Pippa of Moldova on 182 to open his account in the clean and jerk. Pippa hit 151 in the snatch. That was good enough for 5th place.
See how much the arms are shaking in that position. That was harder than it should have been. Obviously the warm-up had gone fairly well for him to up his starting weight from 180 to 182. But I wasn't overly convinced with that. I think there's a bit more room for improvement.
As you said earlier, he's very long-armed, isn't he?
Yes, he did. He mistimed the bounce at the bottom as well, which took more out of him than it needed. Hands are quite close. Somebody with such wide shoulders really needs to have his hands another inch or so wider, but some lifters, like myself, really struggle to get their hands into that position. Puts a lot of strain through the wrists and the elbows.
Yeah, you do see some lifters going, if they're flexible enough, going very wide, almost trying to turn it into
if only I
a
could
snatch
do that.
at the top.
Well,
Yeah,
the reason for moving the hands wider is there's less distance for the bar to travel overhead, so technically it's more efficient.
182. Dimitrov, who just got the 180. This is a huge ask here.
Well, that's what you call the sticking point.
Oh my goodness.
Needs to stand still. Well,
I think his elbows were all right.
Give him credit for that. That was a massive fight.
182, 3 white lights, and a huge congratulations there to Dimitrov of Bulgaria.
Just watch how hard this clean is. Almost stops. So he does stop.
You see a lot of lifters just giving up there. That was a lot of heart. And then this second battle, goodness.
Gutsy lift.
From start to finish, he must have been wrestling with that weight for about 10 seconds there. That's it can be all over in a couple of seconds. .185 Onanyan of Russia. The youngster hit 152 in the snatch, missing 156. At his very best, he's hit 192. He's the world junior champion from last year. And indeed the world youth champion from 2011.
Tremendous leg strength. Just, oh goodness me, look at the end of the bar. There's a 2.5 kilo weight inside the 5. Well, yeah, he's got every right to be annoyed with that. That is a mistake.
A misload?
Yeah, definitely a misload. Can't cover that one up, I'm afraid. Well, it's a sign of a good lifter. Only realised once the bar was on his shoulders. Yeah, there's boos from the crowds, and quite rightly so. That is an error from the loaders. And it's quite dangerous, you know, if the bar's misloaded, it can put the lifter off and cause muscle pulls. So, and it's going to take a lot out of him. That's, you know, a big effort. You only get 2 or 3 efforts that are maximal, and to recover from each one is tough. He's now got to recover from an extra one that he hadn't planned on.
Instantly knew that it was wrong there.
There's nothing you can do though when the bar's on your shoulders. You've got to go for it.
Well, Mr. Johansson walks over, president of the jury.
Well, this will all be taking time, which is a good thing. Gives him more recovery. They've got to give him at least 2 minutes now before he comes out for that weight again. That's really disappointing, and it's really annoying as an athlete when there's a mistake like that.
So it is Tigran Matrosyan who's been called out next. 185 will open his account, but we're not sure he's going to go here because...
well, that lift should be reinstated. So Onanyan should be coming out again for what will be his first attempt again.
And time on the clock there. 1 minute came up.
2 minutes.
Well, I can hear people saying 2 minutes, so they're still glancing up at the screen. And when these things happen, as we said before, there is a chain that it has to go through for all of the different jobs. It's frustrating for everyone, of course, most of all for the lifter, but he's just got to keep his cool here.
Well, it's frustrating. That was definitely a mistake from the loader. However, the centre referee's job is also to make sure that the bar is loaded correctly. So the buck, I think, stops with the centre referee. The jury, you could see them shaking their head there because they then would have been the next people to see it. So it's kind of a chain of people that should have stopped that happening. Very unfortunate. It's a mistake. That's all it is. So it's Tigran Matrosyan who is going to come out for 185,
and presumably Unanyan is going to follow on 185 after him. But at the moment it's showing as a missed lift, so we'll have to wait and see. Martirosyan 157 was his best snatch. He took the gold in the snatch by virtue of body weight ahead of Gadelli.
Wow, very, very strong in the legs. Great speed driving out of the clean. And again, massive leg strength, massive leg drive to generate as much height on the bar as he did for the power jerk.
Well, we saw the squat jerk earlier. There's our perfect example of the power jerk. Doesn't dip as low as we've seen.
He might need
Great
to
power
when the weight gets heavier, but that was definitely a power. I'm looking at the scoreboard thinking Unanyan must have gone up from 185.
Yeah, 186 appears on the scoreboard at the moment, and 185, and Alexandru Rosu is coming out now.
He would have gone up to 186 to give himself a little more time to recover.
Yeah, he certainly looked very strong in the clean phase anyway. Now Rosu hit 180 on his second attempt.
Oof. Well, trying to do too much with his upper body, not really using his legs to full advantage. It's not a great day in the office.
Rosu did 3 out of 3 in the snatch, 148 is best there for 7th place in the snatch, then 180 his best. And that means his total is 328, which leaves him in 5th position overall. Still leading overall is Martirosyan on 342. Well, big cheers here for Razmik Unanyan. If you've just joined us, then he came out to lift, but the bar was misloaded on his left-hand side. He failed the lift. Now he's gone up a kilogram to 186 to buy himself some time here. This is a big test for the junior world champion.
Needs to steady himself. He'll get away with that. Close to elbow movement there.
Yeah, certainly shoulder movement, but surely the referees are going to be kind to him after their previous mistake in the load. And 3 white lights it is, 186 for the Russian. Well, if he'd have been given red lights there for his elbows, it would have been, I think there could have been a riot in the audience.
He was good there, no movement. Just looked to be in an awkward position. I think it's the way his feet were, made it look even more wonky.
Gadelli came in very late in the snatch competition, failed his opener. He's coming at 186 here, and that means just Kedamaj, the other Albanian, is still to join. Had real trouble with his lockout in the snatch, and again that was dodgy with the left arm there. There was a wobble. See what the referees think. 3 white lights. They obviously take into account the fact that he can't perfectly lock out that left arm.
That they shouldn't, yeah, take it into account, but at the same time there shouldn't be any movement. I think what we're seeing there is more the body trembling than an actual lockout. Remember, these are heavy weights now, and there's a lot of strain going through the arms and the shoulders.
Semiyagsi, European champion from 2011, has jumped 6 kilograms to 186. Because of a fairly weak snatch, 145, he's sitting all the way down in 8th in the overall race. This would bring him up to 6th.
Well, the bar was at arm's length, slightly in front though. He pushed himself back away from the bar. So disappointing when you've given so much effort on the clean. Not the tidiest of techniques, pulling with the arms way too early. Does not allow the legs to be as efficient as they should be.
This is how it stands so far. First attempts, 186, good for both Gedeli and Unanyan of Russia. The Armenian on 185, Pippa on 182. All of them still have 2 more lifts to come. Karamaj, though, has yet to join in. He's posted a 187 opener. Areas right down the bottom, just below the Moldovan Kaptari, who failed in the B group earlier today. Well, we expect Karamaj to come out next on 187. It's going to be a tight race, this. All of the athletes who are close in the snatch, Gedeli, Martirosyan, Karamaj, are also very closely matched in the clean and jerk. Now, Artyom Pippa goes from 182 to 187, which would give him a total good enough to bring him into 4th position.
No way. His left arm has never locked there.
Yeah, he taps his lower back there. Hopefully that battle hasn't taken too much out of him. He still has 1 more attempt to come. I imagine he'll probably come out in 187 again, as that was...
And he's complaining of a back injury, but the starting position doesn't help that. He was so far over the bar that all the weight was on his lower back, rather than being able to drive effectively with the legs as it came off the floor.
From that angle, they wouldn't have seen his bent arm, though, so they probably thought it was a fair fight as he was trying to go for it, but from right early on, he didn't catch it properly. Now, Semi Yagsi comes out for his final attempt. 187. He's gone up a kilogram. He's got 180 on the scoreboard. Successful from his first lift. But from 3 years ago, when he's the European champion, he is well down. 192, his very best from back then. So, ranked 8th position, that's it. His day is over. 325 kilograms is total.
Never really got up to that, did he? Never really fully extended.
Yeah, and just didn't have the power like he did 3-4 years ago.
That's what age does to you.
I'm afraid so, yeah. He is 26 years old, Sami Yagsi. So, a weightlifter's life, like in many different sports, it depends how many miles you have on the clock. Some people burn out at a much younger age. Others seem to have a very long career. A little bit of luck, a little bit of how well you look after yourself. Now, here is Erkan Karamaj, who's going for 188 as his opener. This is the last man to join in the competition. And were he to get it, then he would go into first position by virtue of body weight.
Well, he's just made up the deficit from the snatch. He was behind by a couple of kilos. He's now back on a level playing field with 2 attempts still to go.
Good job. 343 he's on. And it's Gedeli, actually, who is in the lead. 343. No, I was right. He 343. He should go into the lead. 76.68 is 2 grams lighter, isn't he? So the graphic wrong there. 2 grams the difference. Karamaj will be happy he gave himself that haircut. Here's Richard Tkach on 188, 8 kilograms more. Didn't look comfortable at all in the first one. And you'll see the squat jerk technique here in a moment or two. This is a really big jump. Tkach is on a 330 total at the moment. If he were to get this, it would take him to 338. Which would leave him in 4th position. Big ask, really big ask. I think that was just a hit and hope, wasn't it?
Well, I think we both sat here thinking, why go for an 8 kilo increase? Maybe trying to make up for the missed lift.
Well, I guess I can only assume that what is his personal best? My handwriting's so bad I can't actually tell. 185 is his personal best. So yeah, I was about to say, is it well within his personal best? No, it isn't, is the answer. And it seems he's been off form. Now let's have a look here. Richard Tkach, 358. Now I'm not sure if the leaderboard's exactly right there.
No, he's
because
not.
I've got him on 330, and so ignore that. It should be Karamaj who's in 1st place at the moment. So just forget what you've just seen. It is Karamaj who leads. Martirosyan, who is in 3rd, is coming out now to try and attempt 190. Gudeli, the other Albanian, is in 2nd. Now, worry to get this, Martirosyan would go to 347 total, well ahead of the 2 Albanians.
So close. There's just no room for error on the squat jerks or the power jerks. It's got to be dead overhead. You cannot chase it if it's slightly in front, slightly behind. Precision is everything, and that's a reason why very few lifters attempt these kind of lifts.
Yeah, you were right though. The power jerk at 185 turned into the squat jerk at 190.
Well, this is something that really gets me. Why does an athlete do, for example, a power snatch in the warm-up room, and then as the weight gets heavier, they sink lower and lower and lower? You see it all the time at internationals, all the time at national events. Why not warm up doing a full squat lift so that when you step foot onto the platform, your body knows the position it needs to be in? It's the same here. We often see lifters come out doing a power jerk because they can, and then as the weight gets that bit heavier, they have to go into a squat position. They're cold in that position because they haven't warmed up through it.
Yeah, it's a very good point indeed. I guess they feel they can hit the groove, and they've just practiced it so much, but you're right, there's nothing like doing it just moments before to really get yourself in the groove. So Martirosyan at the moment is following himself at 190. Gudeli for his 2nd lift is going for 191, and the leader of the whole competition, Karamaj, who hit 188 for his opener, is looking like coming out at 191 as well. We still have Ananyan, the young Russian, as well, and Pippa. No luck. No, it wasn't enough time to recover there. Didn't even get under it in the clean phase. So Martirosyan goes out with a 185 clean and jerk. He is still currently in 3rd place thanks to the win in the snatch, 157. Things could change here. Ananyan, who has a big clean and jerk in the past, the junior world champion. He's down in 4th position overall on 338, 4 kilograms behind Martirosyan. So worry to hit, let's just say 192. Then he would leapfrog him and more.
And he's 4 kilos on Keramaj to go ahead. When you get to this kind of level, the coaches and the athletes are going to take whatever weights they need to put themselves in medal position.
Here comes Ananyan charging out to the stage, brimming with confidence. 191 kilograms on the bar. This will take him up to 343 and into third place. Slightly heavier on body weight than Gandeli.
No, he's not getting that.
Oh my goodness. Close.
Again, the problems with doing a power jerk. At least with a split jerk, when you move your feet forwards and backwards, if it's slightly in front, you can lunge to get yourself back underneath it. You can't do that on a power.
Yeah, you got some wriggle room. That right arm just gave way there. And, well, at the moment, Ananyan still sits down in fourth position. That says third there, but Martirosyan is on 342. This is the clean and jerk standings, of course. So, leading the clean and jerk at the moment is Keramaj on 188. Here comes Gandeli, 191. This will take him from second overall into first, and the lead of the clean and jerk.
No. Too much today. One attempt to go. This is, I think the gold medal is going to be won by the most consistent lifter here. Really yanks at that from the floor. Strong legs, though.
Keramaj on 343, equal with Gandeli. And by virtue of 2 grams of body weight, Keramaj leads his compatriot. Martirosyan is in third, a kilogram behind. Ananyan still has one more lift to go. So does Pippa, down on 333. If he were to hit something big, then he could jump up into the top 3 as well. So this is definitely not a done deal yet. There's Martirosyan, who sits fourth in the clean and jerk, but third in the overall. You'll be hoping Ananyan with one lift left, and indeed Pippa, missed their final lifts. Now Pippa is going to jump from 182 all the way to 191 if he hits it in terms of success, having failed 187. So Pippa failed 187. He's now, unless he's pulled out, is calling for 192. That's a glory lift. It's Ananyan who's coming out, though. 192 it is. Oh no, here we go. It is Pippa first up. So he's not pulled out. Let's not forget, look at this. 182, fails 187, now comes out at 192.
This is 7 kilos above his personal best.
It will take him up to 343. By virtue of body weight, he'll be in the overall gold.
Stop!
Well, I think the way he came off the platform after his second attempt, he's obviously struggling with something.
You can only assume this is a weight he's done in the training hall or at some point in the recent past, and that the game plan was to come out and do something like this.
No, I don't reckon he's done that before. That's so far above his best. Looking at the way he attempted it, he never really fully committed, never really dug deep enough for it.
It's just madness then, isn't it? Why would you do it?
7 kilos above his best. I think it was a hit and hope attempt.
So, Ananyan, this is very doable. 192 would take him up to 344. By a kilo, he'd be ahead of both Albanians. Overall gold, clean and jerk gold position.
was a good clean, stronger than the last attempt. He's got it. Stand still. Oh no! No,
Hang on.
He's giving it the scream. That's an attempt to intimidate the referees, as if to say, I had it. In my view, he put that down before the referee signal. He was under control, but not long enough to wait for the down signal. I would have failed that.
He's had a tough night, hasn't he? Seeing as he came out for his first clean and jerk and it was misloaded. He certainly had to wait a long time there, but was he ever really under control? He was shifting backwards, and I think Mr. Johansson... Let's have a listen. Well, they're saying he was standing.
Over. Goodness me, no. I thought his body crumbled before the down signal.
Little discussion here. Let's see if we can listen in. They're saying he never stopped. He felt he never stopped.
I don't think he stopped.
Be interesting. The side judges have a better view than anyone of movement forwards and backwards.
If we see the replay, we need to be able to hear the buzzer as well. That's a critical point.
Well, sounds like some external interference here being shouted at Mr. Johansson, who's under a great deal of pressure to get to. And this will take him up into gold in both clean and jerk and overall.
Well, I think the movement we saw there is soft elbows, not a press out. He'll get that.
Tough night for the referees and jury, because you're right, it's very soft elbows, but we've seen it before with Gudeli, and they're happy with that. So he goes into first place overall with that 192 by virtue of body weight, 76.7, and Anyan 76.8. Yes, by virtue of body weight, he's ahead in the clean and jerk, and comfortably ahead on overall total.
Well, worth noting now that Kerimaj, that we can see in picture there, who's looking at the scoreboard, he's had a very long wait since his first attempt.
Got 2 lifts though, so he can have a warm-up miss potentially.
Well, this will put him into gold medal position on the clean and jerk, but only second overall if successful.
Take him up to a 3.48 total, 1 down on Gudeli.
Look at the clock to see how long he has left. Loads of time. Very short on the extension, threw his shoulders back to compensate. Great jerk, great drive to arm's length, needs to stand still. See, now he's given the down signal before his feet were even in line. But he's holding it long enough to show, look, I'm in charge, I'm the boss.
Yeah, he did, didn't he? That's good from Kerimaj, who's gone to 3.48 in the total, 1 behind Gudeli. And what does he need to do? He's got 1 lift left, 1 lift in the entire tournament. In terms of body weight, 76.68, Gudeli 76. So he's 2 grams lighter. All he needs to do is 1 more kilogram to take him to 3.49 to equal Gudeli in the overall. And by virtue of body weight, he'll take the win. So it's pretty obvious he'll go for 194 then, you'd assume?
Well, you would assume so. Let's hope he doesn't do anything crazy.
What's his personal best out of interest? 196. We're getting dangerously close to that. Well, Nanyan, we know, is going to get a medal. Medals. He'll get 1 from the clean and jerk and the total. Bronze medal in both. And Gudeli currently the bronze in the clean and jerk. Overall, he's in the gold medal position. This 1 lift is to move this man, Kerimaj, from the silver medal overall to the gold overall.
He's coming out early. It's hard for the body to fully recover. He's going on adrenaline here. If I were coaching him now, I'd hold him back for another 20, 30 seconds to make maximum use of the time.
6th place at the World Championships in 2013.
The last jerk was good. Does he have the legs to drive? He has. Can he recover? Feet back in line.
He rides the wave of adrenaline. He is the European champion. 349 kilograms. He's equal with Gideli, and it is a great night for Albanian weightlifting. 3 out of 3. And he's just ecstatic with that. Hit 155 in the snatch, failed 158 twice, and still managed to come through and take the overall gold, and indeed the clean and jerk gold, the bronze in the snatch. Really good night then for Keramaj. Well, it's had a few little blips along the way, that's fair to say.
Well, I think the referees were under a lot of pressure. I think the jury were as well. I'm not sure they were all the right decisions, but that's the way the competition goes.
Here's the leaderboard for the clean and jerk. Keramaj 194, 2 kilograms ahead of Gideli and Unanyan, who Unanyan, being the heavier man, has to settle for third there. Martirosyan further down in fourth position on 185. Sean Clegg, who went earlier on in the B group, hitting a 160, failing 165. Well, we'll get confirmation for the overall in a moment or two. Let's have a look at this final lift again. It was all down to this. Keramaj came charging out. Looked comfortable. Took just 1 kilogram below this for a second. This 194 to take the overall gold, the European title.
Great jerk position, body lovely and straight, feet split nice and evenly forwards and backwards.
Just so happy to win it as well on what was a very eventful night. You could say beforehand he was probably the favourite for this category, so holding his nerve in the end on the final lift. 2 men on 349, 2 Albanians, but he is the lighter of the 2. Razmik Unanyan takes third place in a controversial decision by the jury. Sean Clegg down the bottom there for Great Britain, 287 his total, finishing down in 12th. Now this is what's still to come up. Tomorrow we have the women's 69 and the men's 85 live at 18:30